Authorities are asking for help to find a missing cruise passenger. We've got Royal Caribbean doing away with something that's been a part of cruising for a long time. And well, I've got a new game of who's the bigger cruise jerk. I will give you a couple examples of something that happened on my most recent cruise. All that and more on today's episode of The Cruise Show.
All aboard! Your ship is leaving. Talking about everything going on in cruising. It's the Lido Loca time. It's the cruise show. It's the cruise show.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. Welcome to The Cruise Show. I am your host, Tony, here to talk you through everything going on in cruising. It's everything going on in cruising. It's for your face on the 26th of November, 2025. And like I said, we have authorities asking for help finding a missing cruise passenger. Authorities on the island of Sint Maarten are asking for help to find a 55-year-old cruise passenger, Miss Ann Evans, who was a passenger on Holland America Line's Rotterdam when the ship was docked in the port of Sint Maarten on November the 20th. Now, according to the police there in Sint Maarten, Evans boarded a tour bus around 10 a.m., got off the ship and boarded a tour bus. They went to Marigot, which is on the French side of the island. Evans left the tour bus, but did not return to the tour bus or the cruise ship afterwards. So she's been missing for 8 days. This is the picture of Miss Evans. If anybody has any information, please contact the police there in Sint Maarten. The Rotterdam's currently on a 21-day round-trip sailing out of Port Everglades, supposed to be back in Port Everglades on the 28th. That's a sad one, and hopefully, it's a mystery. Hopefully it has a happy ending, but 8 days is a long time to be missing. Hopefully it's a scenario of where she wants to be missing, and we've seen that play out before, and hopefully nothing nefarious is going on, but only time will tell. Now, on a more joyful note, there is a cruise port out there that hit a record milestone this year for its cruising season. We're talking about the capital of Alaska. Juneau, Alaska recorded 1,700,842 cruise passengers in 2025. It was an increase of about 0.6% over 2024, just a few more than last year, but it really does solidify the idea of Juneau's place in cruising, particularly in Alaskan cruising. There are some interesting things going on in Juneau there. They've put restrictions on how many cruise passengers can go to Juneau on each day of the season, and that may be running in conflict with a new pier effort that is going on between Royal Caribbean and some of the locals there in Juneau. They're building out a new pier kind of away from the other pier area in Juneau. And some question is, well, with the new pier, are there going to be an increase in the amount of people that are allowed to go? And the answer is no, pretty much not. And so this is going to be interesting to play out. But the big celebratory thing here is that we have a cruise port reaching a new milestone. And a few years ago, that was questionable. So congratulations. Congratulations, Juneau. Well done. Look, we talk about protecting yourself all the time when you travel, your personal protection, your data protection. What we don't talk about a lot is protecting your stuff. Did you know that most suitcases with a zipper can be opened with a pen? Just pop right through the zipper in a moment of distraction, and all of a sudden, your most personal things that are in your luggage now vulnerable for theft. That's why I'm thankful for the sponsor of today's episode, Noble Travel. Noble Travel creates anti-theft zipperless luggage to keep all of your valuables protected while you are traveling. This Noble carry-on all-in-one not only protects your stuff, but it also has some great amenities. It's got a front pocket for your laptop, a charging port to charge your devices. It's got a phone holder. Imagine that. You're sitting down and you can watch something on your phone without having to juggle your phone. It even has a water bottle holder. Lifetime warranty, #1 rated luggage on Trustpilot. Thousands of people already switching over to zipperless security. That's where it's at. Like I said, you can traditional zipper, you can pop that open with a pen, but not with Noble. Noble has removed the zipper. Travel, safer travel, Noble. The big days of savings are upon us. Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Head over to Noble Travel. Check out the deals there. You got accessories like the water bottle, like the battery pack, in addition to the great anti-theft luggage. You can scan the QR code that's on the screen, or you can go to the link that is in description. A big thank you to Noble Travel for sponsoring today's episode. Yeah, it just hit me. Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. What are we thankful for? There's a lot to be thankful for out there. Life is challenging sometimes, but you always have to like roll into that gratitude, because the gratitude will get you through. So you're going to get asked probably, I don't know, does your family do that where let's go around the table and say something that we're thankful for? Yeah, I don't know. We don't do that particularly, but we are pretty good with the gratitude. Hopefully you're thankful for something. I've got a dilemma. I've got a Black Friday dilemma. Look, I love to travel. That's my main thing, but I do have a couple hobbies that are a little pervasive in my weak brain. I'm a collector of Lego. I love that. And then I've, thanks to my wife, she got me addicted to collecting vinyl earlier this year. And so there's two conflicting Black Friday things going on. Lego's got their first ever Star Trek set out. Star Trek, not Star Wars, Star Trek. But it's a next generation, so Spock, you're dead to me. It's a next generation set, the Enterprise D, with a bunch of minifigures. I can't wait to get Commander Data. And then they also have a gift with purchase, which is a little shuttle, which will sell out almost immediately. So if you're not in line, right when the Lego store opens on Black Friday, you run the risk of not getting this thing. I had a heartbreaking Lego this past weekend where I missed out on the retiring Lion's Night Castle. It sold out like that. But I believe the Lego store opens up at 7 a.m., and so I've got to be in Tampa at the Lego store at 7 a.m. to get the Enterprise D. But at the same time, Record Store Day, which is an organization that releases exclusive vinyl that are hard to get, exclusive records, the Record Store Day Black Friday starts, and the record shop that I'm going to that has the Record Store Day records opens at 9 o'clock, Granddaddy Records in Brooksville. So somehow I probably will have to be at the Lego store at 6 a.m. and then I will have to try to immediately leave there, because I think it's a good hour from where I'll be in Tampa all the way back to Brooksville to get my Record Store Day selections. I don't think my Record Store Day selections are in that much jeopardy, because the cool thing that the guy Tyler over there did is he put out a list and said, hey, what do you want me to order? Now, he did put a post on Instagram saying, I got most of the stuff that everybody wanted, but it could be scarce, and so get on over here. So I don't know. Black Friday doesn't have the same appeal as it did when I was younger. I remember I used to go out with my brother, and we'd take some kids out and we'd camp out all night to get a $5 season of Mad Men, great stuff like that. But do you have any Black Friday aspirations? Do you like, that was a really long segue into this next story about a cruise port that's giving people warnings over the warnings over the Thanksgiving season. Port Everglades is saying that they will have a surge of people coming to that area. Saturday will be the busiest day. 7 ships with 54,000 guests moving through the port. Over the next few days, it's going to be like 21 ships in Fort Lauderdale. So I put it out there as a warning. A new achievement. I put it out there as a warning, just so you know that if you're going to Port Everglades, it could be congested, kind of congestion that Mucinex will not even fix. So plan accordingly if you're sailing. Shout out Ludacris. Okay, Royal Caribbean doing away with something that's been a part of cruising for a long time. They're doing away with the paper bill. The paper bill at the end of the cruise. This is being reported by Royal Caribbean blog that at the end of 2025, the little piece of paper that you get on the kickoff day of cruise, when they kick you off the cruise ship, you won't have it anymore. I know Carnival, I just got it on my last Carnival cruise. I don't know that everyone does it, but what they're saying is, of course, you can check your account all throughout the cruise digitally on the phone through the application. You could always go to guest services. They'll probably give you a printout of your folio, but it's also emailed to you at the end of the cruise. What I would like to see all these cruise lines do, kind of like your bank statement, I wish tied to your account, which it wouldn't be that hard to do because they know all your information. I wish you could go in there and just pop off a PDF of every cruise that you ever went on your final bill. Seems like that would be doable. I would love that best, because then I don't have to look through my email. They're just one place. But just a heads up, I don't know. I don't really keep that paper. A lot of times I'll take a picture of it, and that's the way we do that. But does this affect you in any way? Do you feel weird about it? No paper for your final bill? And then the cool thing is if they do away with the paper, then Jenny B doesn't have to hide it from me, so I don't see the casino charges. Yeah. Okay. Now let's play a game. You want to play a game? Who's the biggest cruise jerk? And I will give you 2 examples from my latest Carnival cruise. Cruise jerk number 1. You have the person that's talking so loud in the theater during the production show. Here's the way it went down. We saw a production show. We were sitting on the front row because I went with my friend Don Terrace, and that's a requirement. You have to sit right up in front of everybody. We sat on the front row, and we were going to see the show Color My World. And normally this is a song and dance show. They got effects on the screen. There were only two people, and they just sang songs the whole time. And there was no explanation in the beginning that there was something wrong. But pretty soon into the show, you're like, oh, it's just going to be two people sitting on the stage singing. Apparently, there was some illness or some injury in the cast. They had to make it more of a like a performance of just the songs. What do they call that? I don't know what they call it. But so you got two people singing very well, very talented. It was very enjoyable, other than the fact that there were people talking louder than the amplified singers. Talking louder than the amplified singers. That's insane. And they were so loud that the performers could hear them. At one point, they were talking so loud, the guy that was singing this very emotional song just looks over and he's just like staring out at them at the audience. And I don't know. They talked for most of the show. And I thought if I was ever going to see, I've never seen a fight on a Carnival cruise ship, but I felt my friend Don Terrace. He was getting red. I don't think he wasn't feeling froggy. I don't think he was going to jump, but I was like, man, what a great video. The YouTuber gets in fight over loud talking in theater. That's definitely what I would have led with. I would have loved to seen that. That's Cruise Jerk nominee numero uno. Cruise Jerk number 2 is the person that jumped in front of a scooter person to get on the elevator. So the elevator is pretty congested. This was embarkation day. There was a person in a scooter directly in front of an elevator, and they'd been sitting there for quite the long time. They're sitting there. The elevator finally opens, and a guy cuts them off. I've never seen such a thing. Like the elevators, the scooter person started to move forward, and the guy ran in. I almost felt like they brushed the scooter. That's a bold move. And this person hadn't been waiting on the elevator. It was one of those deals where like they came around the corner, that last elevator opened, and they juked in right there before the scooter person. That's a jerk move. Now the scooter person's husband was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And the guy's like, "Hey, I'm in the elevator. What are you gonna do?" And that's all. That was the end of it. But who's the bigger cruise jerk? The person that talks so loud that everybody's disturbed and the performer can hear them, or the person that juked in front of the scooter person? Now, let me say this, or let me just make an appeal. We're very close to 300,000 subscribers, less than 200 subscribers. I would love to get there by tomorrow, by Thanksgiving. But either way, I am super thankful. I'm very thankful that you guys come out and watch the show. I'm thankful that you enjoy the work that I'm doing, and I feel more than blessed and very thankful for the opportunity that I have to do what I'm doing. I couldn't have written this out 10 years ago. So thank you guys so much for being part of the Local Fam. Thank you guys for engaging in the show, and I hope you have a fantastic next couple days. I'm going to take Thursday and Friday off, and thanks again to Noble for sponsoring today's episode. And with all that said, now there's really nothing left to do. One more time before Thanksgiving, dance. Get up.